You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AfterBuzz TV's Devious Maids After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's Devious Maids After Show.
They're on cue.
We got some awesome dancers in the studio. Hey guys, what's up? It's Laila, and I am here with your Devious Maids After Show Season 2 season finale, Look Back in Anger, and this is part 2 of our recap here. We have another special guest in the studio. We have Mr. Mark Deklin.
Hello.
Say hello.
Following my pal Eddie Gannum, who just walked out the door. It's great to see her again.
Yeah, it was a little Devious Maids reunion going on today.
Yeah. It's great to be here. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for coming.
And also joining me are my 2 awesome co-hosts.
Hi guys, Candice Buenrostro, Francesca.
So guys, let's get into
some of the
dirt.
Yeah.
I feel like this episode was, I mean, your story in this episode was probably like the largest part.
Yeah, well,
besides Rosie's wedding, but
that was certainly logistically the biggest part was her wedding. But
right.
Yeah. I mean, because my storyline. I mean, they could have either wrapped up my whole storyline in the finale, which they did, or they could have stretched it and said, let's not tell people what Nick did until next year, which would have been fine too. But yeah, we had a lot to squeeze in.
We would have been like, oh.
I know.
Candice over here predicted what you did, like second episode.
It was nuts that she did.
Was it something about me?
Right
did you
on.
Look at me and say, that's that guy. I know what he does for a hobby.
Runs over children. No, so yeah, they could have stretched it out. You're right, but
which would have been fun because I love Tom Irwin and Rebecca Wasaki.
Great.
Not just as actors, but as people, and we hang out, and so it would have been really fun to have more. Like if we could have milked that out a little more and had more yummy scenes with them, but there it is.
Well, have you been to Tom Irwin's barbecues, his famous barbecues? Rebecca was telling us about.
Yeah, it's very famous. I couldn't go; I had a family thing, but yes, I was invited, and I was sad. Even though I had fun with my kids, I was sad not to be there because I'm sure it was great. Tom is a great guy to party with. We've gotten stupid drunk together, like really dumb. Like he and I closed the bar, and the next day we were like, "What the hell were we thinking?
Where's my credit card and ID?"
Yeah, exactly.
Was this in Atlanta when you guys were filming?
Yeah, yeah. You know, you're away from home. No, we actually Anna Ortiz and Rebecca and Tom and I went out and we went out to talk about a script and stuff. Things we wanted to work through with it, and we just got more and more into it. And this, and we kept ordering oysters and food and wine and scotch, and next thing you know, we were all just stupid and regretful.
I'm sure it was a great time.
Yeah,
it was a great time.
Sounds like a great time.
It was a great time.
I know.
It was a good time.
Yeah, your storyline was actually one of the largest storylines I feel like in the whole season.
True.
Which is great.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely. I mean, the Nicholas story was I think every year the formula is you have a sort of central mystery, and then you have these other stories, and I don't want to say like as if they're less than. It's not like that, but it's the sort of spine of the season. So that's what my story was. Who was this guy? What did he do? Oh, that's what he did. Bye-bye.
Yeah. I mean, you seem so charming in the beginning, and then, you still seem charming throughout, but I say that, but now it's just like, God. But I would say, like, how was it coming on to the show with an already, like, established, like, cast? They were, like, everyone knew each other, got along.
Yeah, definitely. They already have a vibe, but and it's always weird when you come into a new kid. You're like the new kid in school, right? So you have to sort of figure out where you fit in, and there's a little bit of that, like, okay, what's the new guy bring to the table? But everybody was great. I felt very welcome the whole time I was there, and I didn't even know what my storyline was. I literally just knew I was Marisol's new guy, and I was a millionaire, and there was some dark secret in my past. That's what I knew. And then we were shooting, I think, episode 2 when I found out the whole backstory. And I was like, what, are you kidding me? How am I supposed to act that? What?
I get hit by a car.
Right. Well, no, I didn't even know that. I mean, I didn't find that out until like, because I'm talking about the backstory of what, the awful thing that Nick did. But no, the accident, that was fun. That was actually one of my favorite scenes to shoot. You
and the painkillers, I mean, that was hilarious.
Yes.
Thanks. I had to throw back to my high school drug days.
How was the audition process in the beginning when you were first initially casting?
Mostly pleasant. I had worked on Desperate Housewives, so I knew Mark, I knew Eva. I didn't know David Warren, who's the producer, but we had a lot of friends in common from New York. So I knew Scott, the casting director, and so we. It was very pleasant. It didn't feel like I have to come in and prove who I am or that I'm worthy, but Mark's very hands-on, and he definitely put me through the paces, and he had me play it in actually strange ways that never came into play, but I think he wanted to see what my range was. So, we did everything from very charming to very creepy and everything in between.
Yeah, that's what Eddie was saying, that he would give her direction. She'd be like, oh, I don't know how I feel, but then she'd see it and be like, wow, that was actually really good.
Yeah. I found that several times, and there was stuff, like I said, that I used in the audition that he said, do it this way, and I thought, oh, that's how Mark wants it to be. And then once we started shooting, I had a talk with David Warren, who was the showrunner, and he said, no, it doesn't mean it has to be that way. He just wanted to know that he just wanted to see that you could do it that way if needed.
Right.
But don't feel committed to that choice. So we get to play a little more.
Yeah, I'm glad you weren't really that creepy, because Ty definitely took the creepy.
He stole your thunder on that one.
He stole the creepy thunder.
He and Opal both. And what's funny is Joe Adler, who plays Opal, and Gideon Glick, who plays Ty, are two of the sweetest people you'll ever meet. Not creepy at all.
I'm so glad. Yeah. I'm so glad.
Yeah. No, they were both actually cast and crew favorites. They're lovely people. So
phenomenal creepy acting.
Yeah. They did an amazing job. And then you find out I liked how you found out the whole actual story with Opal and Dahlia and just how everything played out. I liked how that was done.
Well, that is definitely a real Marc Cherry device, the flashback like that. But it was fun. I mean, those damn flashbacks. The goatee. I made this choice, and we were like, what can we do that would be very 1990? In the pilot, literally, and I thought back, and I was like, well, in 1999, I had a goatee, and Eva was like, that's it. So then I was committed to the damn thing. So then I was like, sometimes I could grow it, but then there were other times we just shot a scene where I was clean shaven, so we had to put on a fake one.
Oh my gosh!
It was, and the technique, the makeup artist. I mean, she's great. Leanne Yandel Perry, hats off to her. She literally would have me hold the end of a battery terminal, and then she would charge the hair follicles. Electronically.
What?
And so when she would put the spirit gum on, then she would dump them on my face. So it's really cool, actually, because then they would stand up straight, like real hair.
What?
So instead of looking like matted down, glued on hair, it actually looked like it was growing out of my face. It's a brilliant technique,
it's
I know.
Extensions for men.
I know, right?
Face extensions.
I would braid them. It was...
That's awesome.
Yeah.
The makeup teams can just do crazy things.
Oh man, I mean, you saw me after the car hit. I mean, that was it was really cool going like, okay, is this an abrasion? Is it an incision? Is it, it was really fun.
You got beat up a lot this season.
Yeah, I think I had to. It was the only way we can ever possibly consider forgiving Nick is we can at least look back and say, well, he did suffer a lot.
He took a lot of hits.
Yeah. I think it was appropriate.
By cars, by our soul.
The knife slash, the slap, right.
I was just saying the dagger, so obvious. Give Adrian a dagger. Come on. What's going to happen.
Yeah.
That was so him, though, too. He was like, "Oh, this is exquisite," or whatever he said. Yeah, that was so him.
Yeah,
but yeah,
there's a lot of. I mean, there's always such great one-liners in all the episodes, but there were so many great ones in this episode. Just with Carmen.
Yeah.
Oh, she's ridiculous. Well, what's cool about Carmen and actually so many of the characters, especially the ones from last year, they're so well defined now. I mean, I think for those of us, the new cast members, we had to figure out who we were and define it. But for the returning characters, Mark knows really how to write for them now. You really what their rhythm is. You know Rebecca Wasaki's one-liners. You know how they land, and then Carmen's. She's doing a very different sort of comedy, but they complement one another. And,
definitely.
And, the writing really caters to that.
Definitely.
That's all we've talked about all seasons just how great the writing is.
It's amazing. It's relatable too. We were talking with Eddie about it. It's like everybody has a friend that, you know, that's a Marisol or like a Carmen, and it's like people, you know, can relate and talk about it.
Yeah,
So,
definitely. I think that's why the show's doing well.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone's loving it. Everyone's tweeting along with you guys, which is great.
I know,
Yeah,
I
it's
love
fun.
that. You guys, of a lot of the shows that I watch, you guys live tweet like the most.
That might be. You know, it's. I've never on other shows. I've been. I only joined Twitter a couple years ago, but I was doing another show, GCB, that I would interact with the fans, and they were great. They were a great fan base, but I didn't live tweet. This is the first time I've done that, and it's so much fun.
It's fun, yeah.
It's a great way. It's a great way as the actors. It's a great way to watch yourself, because then you're not so busy being a stupid actor and analyzing yourself like, oh, I hate myself, I'll never work again. Instead, because you're too busy like being an audience member and interacting and like, oh yeah, I did do that. Yeah, I just got hit by a car. Hashtag ouch.
Yeah.
So it's fun.
It's a little emoji, sad face.
Well, you just mentioned GCB, right? Good. Yeah. Good. I was watching some like clips of it. Your accent, how fun was that to always have like this like little southern drawl?
Oh, it was great, man. You know what I'm talking about? It was great. Yeah, I loved it. That was one of the fun things. As an actor, I enjoy hiding behind an accent. It's fun, or prosthetic faces or anything like that. So yeah, I loved it, and I enjoy. I liked working in Texas, and I like. Texans make me laugh, and I mean that as a compliment. They're such sort of caricatures of themselves.
Yeah.
And I had a great time working there, and yeah, I enjoyed having that accent.
What other accents can you do?
I can do a lot. Almost any English-based, anything that was formerly in the British Empire, or.
I say you do the rest of the interview in an accent.
Wow. All right. Which accent?
Pick one, guys.
Candice?
Or at least the next question.
All right, I'll do Irish for now. And we'll move on from there.
As an actor, we always ask, what advice do you give to people listening to the show or watching you that want to get into this crazy business? What is a key piece of advice you can give?
Oh.
Wow.
No,
Run.
I'm thinking about it. No, I'm thinking about going Scottish. It's really annoying, isn't it? I'm going to stop the accent. That is such an annoying actor thing to. Hi, I'm doing dialect.
It was awesome though.
So, what if it's a hard business. It's a really, really hard business. Every cliche is true. The good and the bad. And if someone once said about enlightenment, if you don't need it the way a man whose hair is on fire needs a pond, then don't seek it. And I kind of feel that way about this profession. I mean, if there's something else you can do that fulfills you, that makes you happy, my recommendation is do that. Because I actually, myself and every actor I know, we all have exit strategies. We all have fire escapes. Every year I have this conversation where I'm like, I want out. What else can I do? Maybe I'm going to open a wine. Maybe I'll become a farmer. Like I literally like every year I want to leave the business. But
what else would you do?
Well, my wife asked me one time. She said, "Well, what else turns you on? Like, what other creative activity does that for you?" And I mean, I love working in my garden with my daughter. I mean, I can't describe how much I love it. And like, I have this little fantasy of being a farmer. And I know it's stupid. I'm not going to. It's a much harder life than being an actor, but and economically and everything, it'd be a bigger gamble. But I love that. I love working in the earth. And otherwise, I don't know. I could go back to teaching. Who knows?
That's right. I read that you used to teach
English, right?
I did, yeah. I taught history for a little bit and then English, and I wouldn't mind teaching history again. But whatever I would do would be something nerdy.
Yeah,
for sure.
So was that a coincidence that Nick, as a character, they met at a bookstore?
Yeah, I don't know if it was a coincidence. I guess it was a coincidence because Mark wrote the role. They conceived the role before they cast me. So. There was part of me that thinks that I think there were some confluences where they infused parts of me into the role, or I did that. But I think that was one that already existed because Marisol is she's an author.
Oh, and she was a professor.
She's a professor.
That's right.
So I think it made sense for her to meet a guy who would be able to banter with her. And we would sometimes like there was one episode. It was the one with Kim where I was jealous and I was going to chop off his hand, and there was a line where I say to her, in vino veritas, and then as written, I translated for her. Like, you know, I literally said, in wine there's truth. And Anna and I both were like, no. Marisol does not need the translation.
That's right, she doesn't.
Yeah, she's a smart cookie. So, yeah, I think the bookstore was coincidence, but yeah, that probably is a place where I would have met someone.
Yeah, I always wondered. I was like, I know he's into English and all that stuff too, so I was like,
Yeah. No, there were definitely some, I mean, without question, I mean, our circumstances are very different, but I think I definitely put some of my own personality into the character. I like to do that when I can.
What do you see happening for Nick next season? What do you think? What could you predict?
That's a really good question. I don't know. For the longest time, I wanted him to be redeemed. It started out, I thought, it wasn't that I wanted him to be, I want to be liked by everybody. I don't mind playing the bad guy. But I thought, we've got to see what Marisol sees in him. He can't just be a creepy, can I swear?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. So he can't just be an asshole. We've got to get some glimpse of what is she seeing him? Because if we don't, then she's a fool, and we disconnect from her. So mainly as a service to her, I wanted to find what was real about their relationship, and in the process, because for me as a parent, it's hard for me to forgive a hit and run driver of a kid. I mean, that's pretty unforgivable. But weirdly, as the season went on, I grew to like Nick. I grew to become a little more proprietary about him, and I wanted to find a certain integrity in him and a sort of a journey of a guy who wants to redeem himself.
Right.
He's just going about it the wrong way.
Yeah, I mean, because there are parts where you feel really bad for Nick.
He's not a malicious guy.
No, he didn't intentionally. I think, and what he did ate him up inside for many, many years, and the fact that his wife got thrown off the bridge and right in front of him, and he couldn't say anything because Opal had dirt on you.
Yeah.
And I mean, what an awful place for anyone to be.
Awful. And that's what I had to connect to was that. But of course, you can't just play that either. You have to. He's trying to find happiness. And move on. And move on. But you can't escape from your past like that. But but he went. Like the line when I said to Marisol, "I'm not a murderer." I really put the truth into that of I'm not. Yeah. I'm a killer. But I'm not a murderer. I didn't I didn't murder a child.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
You intentionally
I didn't want it to happen. It just but obviously, not turning yourself in.
Not stopping
and not turning yourself in is not the right choice to make.
No, and the Powells of all people to
those sweethearts, those kind, innocent
to mess with.
angels.
I was just like,
I thought you were like, of all people, the Powell.
If the police don't get you, I mean, the police are nothing compared to what they would do to you.
Well, that's why, in the finale, it was a real twist to have them not kill me because it's so obvious that, and I think
that was such a great scene. I was just watching it
well acted.
And for Evelyn to be, she said. You asked if she could ever forgive you?
I basically just said I'm just so sorry. I literally was like, for what it's worth, I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
she said after all these years, it's worth nothing.
Yeah, and what broke my heart was you find out how close you were with them. Took family vacations and were best friends, dinner parties, and then.
The history unraveled, and it was, and you see Evelyn, they're giving you the benefit of the doubt, you didn't know how to deal with their son.
Oh, that killed me when we were acting that part, and they're playing all typical Powells, and lighthearted, and I felt like shit. I was like, oh no, you didn't do anything wrong. Trust me, I killed your son.
Oh. Yeah, you could see when I was watching that scene, I actually tweeted said you guys did an amazing job, but you could actually see you kind of. I noticed you were kind of shrinking down, kind of just wanted to hide or just
crawl in a
little spot. Not hide so much, but just
Yeah, well, Nick would rather be anywhere but there. I mean, anywhere. He'd rather just go straight to jail.
Yeah,
he'd rather, anything. That was interesting. I don't usually approach scenes in a method sort of way, but that was one where I spent the day in this sort of dark, sad place, and that's another annoying actor thing. But that scene it needed that weight. We all felt it. Well, it was one of those days where we were like, hope there are no visitors to set because it's not a happy place today. But it was cool. I think we were all pleased with the outcome.
Yeah, it turned out great.
Yeah, that's
thank you.
Probably one of the most intense scenes the whole season.
Yeah,
thank you.
You see the Powells being human. Human made them human.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to totally bring them together. And I think that was just the pain that was eating away at their marriage for so many years. And
Yeah, well,
my fear for them is I hope that doesn't undermine, I think what part of the juice of their marriage is that conflict. So, I hope that doesn't get lost. I mean, it won't in the hands of those two actors, but you know what I'm saying.
Exactly.
I know, because at the end they're embracing each other and both like, Adrian says, this whole time I've been blaming you to Evelyn, I'm so sorry. And then she says she's sorry too. It's like, oh my God.
I know.
Yeah, but you don't want that. You don't want it to have a finality to it because you still want them to have a future as the bitchy couple that they are, which is so much fun.
So fun.
There's-
See them
yeah.
back and forth.
But sorry, that was my long-winded answer to your question, Candice. So what do I see for Nick? I don't know. I mean, at the very least, I don't even know if Nick is coming back next year. That's all up in the air. But my feeling, I'd like to think that in that moment he, and I tweeted this. I think for the first time in 15 years he's a human being again.
Yeah.
And yes, he's going to go to jail. He's going to pay. And he's going to suffer, and he has to. But I'd like to think that he kind of got a piece of his soul back, and he can maybe he can find some kind of redemption in prison. I don't know.
Or there's like closure a little bit, for him. Like
now, will he and Marisol get back together again? Some people say yes, they should. Some people say absolutely not. I don't know. But I think he will probably be a better person for it, for whatever that's worth.
Do you think Nick was mad at Marisol? Because we never really saw any of that. It was just kind of like, you need to tell me, and we're gonna go to the police.
I think he was mad at her earlier. I think there were earlier episodes where we were in conflict, where I was, where I kept saying, why can't you just let this go? Why can't we just be happy and forget that happened? But then we got to this place of like, this melancholy place in episode 12, in the last episode, where it was just this sort of sadness of like, this really could have been wonderful, and you're not going to let it work, are you? Okay. And it was a very sad thing. And then, so I think Nick knew where it was headed, and I think some part of him was grateful to her. She was the catalyst for his redemption, and I think some weird part of him is like, thank you for saving my soul.
Yeah,
it's true.
I mean, Opal, what happened to her was awful, but she is out of your life, and
Maybe Ethan will come back next season. He's on the run.
Yeah, he certainly could come back.
You guys could be on the run together.
Colin's hold hands and drive over the Grand Canyon.
Thelma and Louise.
Yeah, exactly. Colin's a great kid, really wonderful actor. Whether he comes back or moves on to another project, you're going to see big things from him.
Yeah, we found out. Eddie was telling us that he just auditioned for the role. He's in college. And
he just graduated. As we were shooting, he flew back to
awesome.
walk with the cap and gown. It was very cool. Yeah, he's a great kid.
That's awesome.
And it's probably very condescending for me to call him a kid, except that I am like 3 times his age. So.
Now, when you were shooting in Atlanta, did you take your family, your wife, and your kids, or did they stay?
They stayed here. I mean, my kids are little. My son's 1.5, and my daughter's 4.5. So we weren't. I didn't just want to uproot the family and go down. So I just, it's really, the show is more. It's the maids. It's the women. It's their show, really. Yeah. So for the guys, the shooting schedule is very civilized. So I was home almost every week. I never went longer than a week without seeing them, and so it was just a lot of back and forth, which was, was fine. And and I missed them when I was away, but. And they came to visit me for a few weeks, and it worked out. It was good.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Are you working on anything coming up? Or?
I've got a little indie sci-fi film that I've been working on that I don't know what's going on as far as the release or whatever. It's a really cool little script. I believe in it. I like it a lot. I don't know how much I'm supposed to say about it yet because I think the director is not. I'm not trying to be cagey or anything. I think they haven't started doing any press releases or anything yet. So I'm going to honor that. But it's cool. In fact, I was going to sometime this week I'm going to tweet a little selfie because I've got some fun makeup because I'm half alien.
Awesome.
But it's cool. It's not. It's very still relationship based and emotionally based, which it's cool. It's a very smart look at a clash of cultures, and it's neat.
Yeah, it sounds cool.
And other than that, I don't know what's next because we're all, like I said, we don't know. We're all under contract technically, and we won't know for another few weeks if the show's renewed. And then we won't know for another month or more if our individual contracts are renewed. So we're a little bit in limbo at the moment. I might be going back to Devious Maids. I might not. I don't know.
Tweet, you guys.
I know.
Tweet campaign. Save Nick. No. No. So I read somewhere that you were a fight director. What kind of fighting or what kind of...
Well, a British director once said that I specialize in good old American thuggery. So
like throwdown fighting and
yeah, well,
Fight Club.
I'm certified in exactly in European weaponry, so swords, quarterstaff, broadsword, all those sort of classical Shakespearean weapons. But also, yeah, fists. But I choreographed one. He said that because he asked me to choreograph a baseball bat fight for him.
Oh, wow. This is for Broadway, yeah?
Yeah. And I'd never choreographed a baseball bat fight, so I sort of invented a style for it, which was really fun. I basically took quarterstaff and broadsword and sort of combined those two techniques, and it was really fun. So yeah, it's been a really fun side job to have.
That's gonna be fun.
Yeah,
everything.
And it serves me well. Like even like scenes like when Adrian slashed me,
yeah.
or when in the stunt sequence, it's because I'm sort of already in that world. It creates a shorthand with the stunt coordinator, and it's a useful skill.
That's great.
When you were talking, you just said right now you felt bad calling him a kid because you're older, but I've been seeing a lot of stuff about everyone's just about how you're in your 40s and you just have an amazing, body because you could take off your shirt. But I also read that you're a foodie.
Yeah. So how do those two things work?
How does that work? Can you give me tips, please?
I yo-yo. Because see, now that we're in the off season, I'm going to get really, really fat. I'm just gonna. No, you know what? I used to do more of that when I was younger. That going back to the age thing. When I was younger, I could do I could pig out and then you just shred pretty easily. It's not easy anymore. So no, I guess when I'm on season, I'm a little more disciplined. Probably watch what I eat a little more carefully. I'm sure I do put on a few pounds in the off season. When my wife gets pregnant, I like to be sympathy fat.
That's nice.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. It's
Sympathy
great.
fat. That's an awesome term. Whenever I get married, I'm telling my husband, you need to get sympathy fat with me.
And he should go along with it because it's actually really fun. Because you're literally like,
to eat whatever.
I don't care if I'm an actor. I'm eating my pizza.
That's great. Oh my God.
What's your favorite food or favorite restaurant here in LA?
Well, here in LA, I'm so. It's another funny thing is that I'm completely out of the scene here because of my young kids. We literally go to like our local Mexican restaurant or like the places that are fun for the kids. But in Atlanta, because I didn't have the kids with me, we really got to take advantage of the scene there.
You're wilding out.
Yeah. No, and there's
Stupid drunk, stuff in your face.
Exactly, right? Oh, sorry, honey. No, but but it's a great restaurant scene there, and so we got to go out a lot, and I could certainly like list off some of the great restaurants there. But here, I'm so out of the loop. I'm so unhip. I will tell you, there are a couple restaurants because we live in the South Bay. Manhattan Beach has some great restaurants that we love. Abigail's and MB Post, and I don't know if you guys ever get down that way. But
Taking mental notes.
yeah, some really good Fishing with Dynamite is a great one.
I'm hungry right now, guys. That's why I had to ask about food.
I know we had Trisha in the studio, and she wanted us to have wine.
Yeah.
So maybe next time we'll have food for you, since you're such
Wonderful. I'm also a wino, so it'll be great.
Perfect.
It seems to be everyone's thing. I'm okay with this.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good thing.
Wine's a good thing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So when you were a teacher, what made you transition to be like, or what part of your life, where were you at in life when you're like, I think I want to try acting?
Well, it wasn't try it because I was acting my whole life. Like I was in school plays, and it was always something I loved, and I was a musician, and I always knew I'd do something like that. But acting didn't feel like a real job to me. It was just sort of like, yeah, it's a fun thing to do, but come on, you can't respect. You know what I mean? Like I really was like, I have to have a real job. So I was actually in grad school. I had tried a bunch of different things, and I was in grad school for English Lit, but I was also doing a play on the side for fun, and it was just I just had this this moment. I had a full day in rehearsal where I just felt like I belonged to the universe. It just felt right, and then I came home and okay, I'm going to sit down and work on my dissertation a little, and I just sat there and I didn't type anything, and I sat there for like half an hour, and then it just hit me that as much as I liked academia and was pretty good at it, I loved, like I really, acting was what really juiced me. So I called the head of my department and I said, Steve, I'm dropping out. And he was amazing about it. And he said, you know, I knew that because, you know, we saw you in that Shaw play a couple months ago, and I turned to one of the other professors and I said, we're going to lose him. So so he was great, and he said, so do you want to keep your job for a little while longer until you figure out what your next move is? So I did. So I stayed on there and continued teaching for a few more months until I figured out my next move, and then I moved to Seattle after that and joined the theater community and the grunge rock scene.
Yeah, the grunge rock scene. I was going to say, I read that you used to play guitar. So
I still play.
Do you still play guitar? Was my question to you.
That was one of the attractions of Seattle, and because that was, again, because I'm old, so this was back when. I say that embracing it, but I was in Seattle back when Starbucks was the local coffee shop, and Pearl Jam and Nirvana and Soundgarden and Alice in Chains. Those guys, you could see them in bars, like they weren't, everything hadn't exploded yet.
I'm so jealous that I wasn't like old enough at that time period, because I was so like into grunge music and Nirvana. I was obsessed with Nirvana, so I'm like very jealous of you.
Yeah, it was a great time to be there. Very exciting, very exciting time to be there.
So were you playing in bands locally, or?
When I went to Seattle, I wasn't. My last band that I had, I mean, I still play, but my last band I had was in college, and I realized, weirdly enough, I was like, the music business is too crazy and weird and hard, and I don't think I want to pursue that path. And then here I am in show business.
Right.
So I didn't have any bands after that. I just didn't want to commit to something that I wasn't really going to pursue.
Yeah.
But I still love the music scene, so I was just into it.
So who's your favorite artist or one of your favorite bands right now?
Right now, I love the National. I'm really digging those guys, and it's actually down in Atlanta. They had the Shaky Knees Festival while we were there, and they had all these great bands of that ilk. The Replacements were there, and the Violent Femmes, and some of those great old bands, alt bands, indie college bands. I love that kind of stuff.
That's great.
Yeah.
Do you, since you have two smaller kids, do you listen to a lot of Disney music?
Oh, yeah.
What's the Frozen or whatever?
I could sing "Let It Go" right now.
Please, let's hear it.
No, and you know why I won't? The only reason I won't is because it's my daughter's song, and I'm not gonna I don't take that from her.
No.
But also because if I started singing right now, I might tear up, and then I'd be really embarrassed.
Oh my gosh!
And here's why. No, but here's why I tear up, because it's this anthem of empowerment for a young woman, and there's nothing I want more for her than that. Aww. So I literally I mean, I've seen the movie. We've seen the movie so many. It's
a million. Everyone I know that has kids has seen this movie like a million times, and the songs, that's all they hear.
It's crazy. Well, and because ABC and Lifetime are Disney affiliates.
Yeah.
Well, Lifetime, but so. I've gotten to know some Disney employees, and we get to go to Disney sometimes, and they've said, we don't understand the phenomenon. Like, we saw it, we all knew it was a good movie. We thought, maybe it'll be a hit like Tangled was, or one of those. But nobody at Disney foresaw that it was going to be this juggernaut that it's become.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Every little girl. Everyone. Oh my God, it's insane.
I work at a restaurant where they have live music, and every set they always sing "Let It Go."
It's a great song.
I swear, it's crazy.
How did John Travolta pronounce her name? Remember at the Oscars?
He butchered it.
Yeah, what was it? It was so brilliant. Oh, I wish I could remember now.
They had a thing on Facebook where you could type your name in.
Right, get your John Travolta name. Yeah, very funny.
Butchered that.
Yeah. But I saw, I get updates for Yahoo News in my email, and I saw two dads made their own music video of "Let It Go" because their daughter, so they changed the lyrics to it, and it's music videos driving them in the car.
Yeah,
with the kids
I saw one of those. Yeah, they're great. They're great.
So we're waiting for yours.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm that geeky that I would. But honestly, it's like her thing. She she's in all these summer camps now, and she just finished Frozen camp.
Oh my gosh!
And at the end, they performed all the little girls got up and performed the songs. What?
Karaoke.
Not a footprint to be seen. A kingdom of isolation.
Karaoke.
All right. Anyway, wow, that was swift, guys.
Thanks, Steven.
Well played.
On top of it. So, you guys, we always do predictions on the show. Obviously, what should we predict for next season? I think we should do predictions for next season.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
we're just gonna put you on the spot,
Yeah.
like.
No, you really, 'cause I don't have one on the tip of my tongue, so I'd like to hear yours
I think
first.
Marisol, she's gonna forgive Nick. I think she's gonna essentially, you know, everything happened this season, and you know he confessed, she found all this stuff. But I think next season maybe it's gonna be why she actually fell in love with him.
I could see some scenes with the
See
two
that.
of them.
And
More
a
flashbacks.
redemption.
Prison
A
scene.
redemption.
I love the idea of that.
Prison
There you
scenes.
go. guys.
Bless you, Candice.
Yeah. Well, the Powells, I think that obviously them knowing this now is going to bring them closer together. I hope that they still keep their dynamic in their relationship, like you said. And I think Marisol's going to forgive Nick too. I think I could see some scenes with them, like he's in prison and she's in love with him still, and you know, she had in the first season so many prison scenes with her son. So
Sure.
I
So
mean,
the set already exists.
it's there. So she's
The
used to
soundstage
it.
is collecting dust.
No. So yeah, that's. I think. Yeah. I
You
think
know what would also be fun to see is Nick and Ethan. Ethan comes back and you kind of guide him because he's kind of messing up in life, and you can kind of like help him out.
Yeah,
and
in my
not
orange
figure-
jumpsuit. I say,
Yeah.
son, let me tell you how to live your life.
He's gonna be in prison too.
You can
Oh.
you can be self.
So the two.
There you, some more writers. There you go.
We got you covered.
This is getting weird now.
Well, you know what? Maybe it'll be like Mr. Spence. His rehab was so fast. Your stint in jail
His
will be
rehab was
real
48
fast.
hours.
Well, you saw how fast I healed. I mean, I literally was like in the hospital with tubes, and in the next episode, I was like, "Hi, I'm tan and I have a scratch and a cane."
And some pain meds.
Right.
No, but Nick can afford some great attorneys, so you know you might be okay.
You know, but that's an interesting thing because I agree. I think in the real world, Nick is so filthy rich. I mean, he's 3 times as wealthy as the Powells.
Yeah.
He probably could get himself off,
Yeah.
Or a lighter sentence or something. But then, is he truly redeemed? You know what I mean? Like I think it's an interesting balance because I think he has to pay some sort of price for what he did. If he doesn't, then it's harder to forgive him. I think.
Exactly.
True.
That's something that's something that's going to eat away at someone forever. So I mean,
Right. I mean, he will live with the guilt of that forever. That's for sure.
but
With Zoila and Javier and Pablo, whose baby do you think it is?
That's a good one. I suspect it's Javier's.
No. That's what we were kind of thinking too.
Yeah, because I mean, it could be either way. But she, you know, I get the feeling she and Pablo hadn't had sex for a while, and then yes, they had that encounter, but she's not pregnant already from that. So you know, but I think it's Javier, and it'd be good to see him come back. I like Ivan. We actually worked together years ago on a really cool project. He's a good guy and really good actor, so I'd like to see him come back.
yeah, we were saying we were so happy that Zoila found him.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were like rooting for him.
Oh yeah, no, of course now he's such a good guy. He's got to have a dark secret.
I know. He's
True.
too nice.
Yeah, it's
Come
a little
on.
too nice for a show called Devious Maids.
Yeah,
Come on.
what's his
He's got to
secret?
dirty up a little.
Maybe he doesn't use like kosher food when he cooks.
Oh my god, that is a crime.
Doesn't watch his-
Horrible. I know.
Right? Oh, he doesn't wash his
hands.
hands. See, and that's more unforgivable than running over a kid and driving away.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, but thank you so much for coming in,
thank
Mark.
Thank you guys. What a pleasure.
You tell everyone where they can find you.
I'm sorry.
Where they can find you
Oh, they can,
online.
on Twitter at Mark Deklin, and.
You don't have Instagram, huh?
I don't. I you know, Twitter's enough social media for me, and then but I'm there.
You're there.
Yeah.
Perfect. You
Fantastic.
can find me Twitter, Instagram, XOXOCESCA.
You can find me on Insta and Twitter, Candice Buenrostro.
And you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Laila Sadny. Thank you guys so much for tuning in.
Great
and
season.
Such a great
I know.
season. I'm so sad, but
We'll see you
guys
next season.
Jinx. Thanks, guys.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.